In this section, we're going to be subtracting rational numbers. Now, if you've already viewed the videos on adding rational numbers, it's going to be very similar. We're going to look at the traditional way of subtracting rational numbers by finding an LCD, and then we're going to use the technique that I taught in the previous section on using the cross product, which can be used for adding and subtracting rational numbers. And then ultimately, we're going to look at an application of subtracting rational numbers. So let's get started. First, we're going to subtract the two fractions 5/2 and 7/8. Alright, so what do we want to do? We want to find the LCD. The lowest common denominator is the smallest number that is divisible by 2 and 8. Well, here, 2 is divisible, it will go into 8 4 times, so our LCD is 8. We only have to transform one fraction with a denominator of 8, and we can bring down the other fraction. So we want to transform 5/2 into a fraction that has 8 as the denominator. So how do we do this? Well, 2 times what will give us 8? Well, it's 4 times 2. 2 times 4. What we do in the denominator, we have to do the same in the numerator. And we'll essentially be multiplying by 4/4 or 1, which doesn't change the value of the fraction, just the form of it. So 4 times 5 is 20, minus, and we can just bring this down, 7/8, and we have a common denominator for both fractions. So just like in adding, we have the 8 as the denominator, and we subtract across the top. 20 minus 7 is 13, and 13/8 is our answer. Let's do another one. Let's subtract 4/7 minus 1/7. Now here we have the same denominator in both fractions, so we really don't even need to find an LCD. We could simply rewrite our denominator and then subtract across the top. 4 minus 1 is 3, and 3/7 is our answer. Okay, let's do another one. Let's say we have 6/13. We want to subtract 4/3. Okay, so what do we do first? Well, we're going to find the LCD. We're going to find the lowest common denominator. Well, this is going to be a bit laborious. We need to think of the numbers 13 is divisible evenly into 13, 26, 39, and so on. 3 will go into 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, and 39. So, as you can see, finding the LCD, sometimes it takes a little bit, but we found it, and it's 39. So now we want to transform both of these fractions into a fraction with a denominator of 39. 39. Okay, so let's start with 6/13. What can we multiply 13 by to get 39? Well, we can multiply it by 3. And whatever we do in the denominator, we need to do in the numerator. 3 times 6 is 18. 6/13 is the same as 18/39, just a different form. Now let's look at 4/3. We need to transform this into a fraction with a denominator of 39. So 3 times what equals 39? Well, 3 times 13. Let's do the same in the numerator. Multiply by 13. 4 times 13 is 52. We rewrite the denominator for our answer, and then we subtract across the top. Now here we run across the only difference between adding and subtracting rational numbers. Subtracting rational numbers, if the second fraction is bigger than the first fraction, we're going to have a negative answer. And that's the only difference we need to look for. We need to be careful with our signs. Our answer is a minus 34/39. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do a different color. Let's look at 2/1 minus 4/9. Okay, first thing we need to do is find an LCD. Well, 9 is actually a good LCD because this is actually a whole number written as a rational number. So we want to transform this number into a fraction with a denominator of 9. And we can just bring this one down. Okay, so 1 times what will give us 9? That's simple, it's just 9. So multiply the same on the top as well. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 is our denominator, and we just subtract across the top. 18 minus 4 is 14. 14/9 is our answer. Okay, let's do a few examples using our cross product. Let's say we're subtracting 5/6 minus 5/12. Okay, this one's pretty simple for our LCD, but let's use our cross product method anyways to get familiar with it with both addition and subtraction. So our first term is going to be 5 times 12, which is 60. We're subtracting this time. Second term is 6 times 5, which is 30. And the denominator is 6 times 12, which is 72. Our denominator is still 72 for our answer, and we're subtracting 60 minus 30, which is 30. And that'll give us 5/12 once we have fully simplified. And that's our answer. Let's do another example. Let's say we're subtracting 3/4 minus 2/9. Okay, let's use our cross product here. 3 times 9 is 27, minus 4 times 2 is 8, and this is all over 4 times 9 is 36. 36 is our denominator in the answer. 27 minus 8 is 19. We have 19/36. So you see that using the cross product technique is much more simple than using an LCD, because you don't even have to think about, well, what can this go divide evenly into and what this can divide evenly into. You don't have to figure out what number can be divisible evenly by 4 and 9, and it gets more obvious as we get into larger numbers that the cross product is actually a much simpler way. So let's go ahead and look at an application of subtracting rational numbers. We're going to say Peter owns 2.25 acres of land. 2.25 acres. If he installs an in-ground swimming pool that is the size of 1.25 acres, that's how big a swimming pool is, which is a good-sized swimming pool, how much land does Peter have? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to subtract 2.25 minus 0.25. But since first we need to do is convert these decimals into fractions. So 2.25, the same thing as 2/4, which is an improper fraction of 9 over 4. We know how to take a mixed number into an improper fraction. We multiply 4 times 2. We add the numerator, which is 9. It gives us 9 over 4. And now let's go ahead and convert 1.125 into a fraction, which is 1/8. Okay. So what we want to do is subtract 9/4 and 1/8. Well, let's use our cross product here. We're going to say 9 times 8 is our first term of 72, minus 4 times 1, which is 4, divided by 4 times 8, which is 32. 32 is our denominator, and 68 is our numerator. And this simplifies into 17/8 when you divide both by 4. Okay? So 17/8, now since our problem gave us acres in decimal form, let's convert back to the decimal form as our answer. 17/8 is the same as 2.125 acres. So if Peter has this many acres of land, and this is how big his swimming pool is, he's going to have 2.125 acres, or 2 1/8 acres left after he puts in a swimming pool. Okay, so what do we do here? What did we learn? Well, we learned very much the same as we did in adding rational numbers. We learned that to subtract rational numbers, we need to find an LCD, which is the smallest number that is divisible evenly by both denominators. And then once we have that set up, we can transform one or both fractions into two fractions where the denominators are the same, and then we can just simply subtract across the top. And we can also use the cross product method to either actually use it as our primary method or to check. Again, you'll need to check with your instructor whether they would like you to do this or not. And then we looked at an application of actually what subtracting rational numbers can be used for. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.